Gertrude is 10 years old, and she's been at the zoo with us for about 7 years. My name is Kath Ellinghausen. I'm the Manager, Interpretation and Recreation Services here at Randall Oaks Zoo, and I've got with me a very special friend, one of our traveling animal ambassadors who goes to schools and scout groups and retirement homes and daycares and camps and programs and all sorts of wonderful things. This is Gertrude, and Gertrude is a ball python, also known as a royal python. And they are from sub-Saharan Africa, so under the Sahara Desert on the African continent. And they are very well taken care of and respected there, as they should be. Now Gertrude here is a little girl python. The girl pythons are larger than the boy pythons. They reach about 6 feet when they're fully grown. Snakes grow for their entire lives, just very little bit once they reach adulthood. And as they grow, they shed their skin. Now, we shed our skin, but not in one big skin piece because that would be horrifying. What she does is she starts to shed her skin at her nose, and she'll rub herself out of her skin, and she'll pull it off over her head, and she'll rub herself and get her skin all the way off of her body, and it comes off generally in one long piece, which if you have a whole snake skin, you can fill it with water, and it will hold water. It makes the world's most horrifying water balloon. Ball pythons are a common pet. When ball pythons are bred in captivity, people breed for color morphs, different variations of color, and there's 6,500 different color variations of ball pythons. Snakes have a forked tongue, which means that when they're hunting, they can find exactly where the mouse that they're looking for is. By sticking out their forked tongue, they pick up scent molecules in the environment, they bring their tongue and they plug it into their Jacobson's organ, which is a scent organ backed by their brain, and they can tell exactly if there's more mouse to the right, the smell of the mouse is stronger to the right, or if it's stronger to the left, and that way they can hunt without using their eyes. Snakes have no eyelids. Their eyes are open their entire lives, and there's a scale that covers their eyes, just like there are scales that cover their entire bodies. Along their belly, they have scutes, S-C-U-T-E-S, kind of like scooting across the floor. And they use their scutes to help climb up things. And they've got very, very, very strong muscles along their whole belly. In fact, the entire snake is a very muscular animal. Now, ball pythons are not venomous snakes. They're constrictors, so they're huggers. And what they do is they hug their prey to death, and then they open their mouth really wide. No, really wide. They can unhinge their jaw. They can unhinge their entire head. And they can open their mouth up and they can fit something much larger than their head size inside of their mouth. She doesn't have very big teeth, but the teeth in her head point backwards. And so when she is eating the mouse or the small animal that she's eating, the animal cannot come back forward. They have a lot of the organs that you have in your body, except your stomach is round. Their stomach is very long and very skinny. Your heart is like a fist, their heart is long and skinny. Lungs, long and skinny. Everything that they have inside of them is long and skinny. They're not just a head and a tail. They do have a tail, like a dog tail or a cat tail or a squirrel tail, and it starts at their snake bottom, which is right about along. There is her snake bottom. So this is her snake tail. She's got a relatively short tail. But they're not just a head and a tail. If you come to the zoo during the summer, you can see our educators out with various snakes. We've got Sherman, who's a sand boa. We've got Gertrude, who's our ball python. And while she lives down in the barn during the summertime, during the wintertime, she lives up with the rest of the reptiles and the turtles and the tortoises up in our special winter facility here at the zoo. Now, Gertrude is a really good traveling animal. She's a very good animal ambassador. One, because she's got a very docile temperament, but two, because she can teach people that snakes aren't scary. Snakes aren't slimy. They're very dry feeling. They're a little bit bumpy feeling. While you wouldn't see a ball python in your backyard, you might see a garter snake or a fox snake in your backyard, do they need to leave? Do you need to kill them? No, they're there to help you with a population of mice and all sorts of little animals that might be in your backyard that you don't necessarily want coming into your house. When Gertrude goes traveling to schools and scout programs and daycares and retirement homes and camps and all sorts of different programs, people generally are not afraid to see her. I bring her out just a little bit at a time. So just her head comes out and we can get used to that, and then a little more of her comes out. She travels in a bedazzled pillowcase, just like a royal python ought to be traveling. It's when we can have young children touch a snake and see a snake and not be frightened when they're 4 years old or 5 years old. It sets them up for a lifetime of not being frightened when they see snakes.